Now we've got to solve this equation then, 2 sine squared x plus 5 sine x minus 3 equals 0 for x between and including 0 to 360 degrees. And to do this, what we need to do is, say, factorize this. So we would therefore have a couple of brackets equals 0, and we've got 2 sine x times a sine x. That's going to take care of 2 sine squared x. And then we want two numbers that multiply together to give the minus 3. And if you do minus 1 and plus 3, you'll notice that we will get the plus 5 sine x, because we've got plus 6 sine x here, and then this is minus sine x, so that's going to be 5 sine x. So we factorize it, and that means that we can say that either this factor, 2 sine x minus 1 equals 0, or we can say that the other factor, sine x plus 3 equals 0. And if we take this equation now and we add 1 and divide both sides by 2, you'll end up with sine x equals a half. And if we subtract 3 in this equation, we have that sine x equals minus 3. Now, for this one, this is an obvious solution. To get x, you'd have to do the inverse sine of negative 3. Do you know what the solution to that is? We should know it. In fact, there's no solution. If you did that on your calculator, you'd get an error. And remember that sine x can only go between plus 1 and minus 1. So therefore you can't have the sine of a number equaling negative 3. So what we've got here is basically no solution. So that leaves us with sine x equals a half. So if we were to say when sine x equals a half, take the inverse sine of both sides, and we have x equals the inverse sine of 1/2. And to do questions like this, what I like to do, rather than draw a graph, is to use the quadrant method. The quadrant method, I'll just show you over here. Just draw our quadrants, 4 sections like this. It starts at 0 degrees. And you should remember that sine in this case is positive, and sine is positive in the first quadrant and the second quadrant. That's this one and this one. So you draw a line in the first quadrant, mark in this angle, and you draw another line equally inclined to this horizontal line here, and mark in that these two angles are exactly the same. Then we need to mark on the angles x that we want. Going in an anti-clockwise direction goes from 0 to 90 to 180, 270, 360. So we always turn in this direction. Starting from here, this is a possible angle x that we need to find. And if we start again from here, we turn to the next blue line, and this is another possible value of x. Now if you use your calculator, what you'll find is that you'll get that x equals, and by the way, you must be in degrees mode, okay? Just make sure your calculator is in degrees mode. Do the inverse sine of a half. What you should find you get is 30 degrees. And that corresponds to this angle here. This angle is 30 degrees. That means that this little blue angle in here is 30 degrees. That is the red x. Now we need the green x, but because these two have been marked as being the same, this little angle in here is 30 degrees. So we can get this angle as being 180 degrees, take away 30 degrees. Do that and you've got 150 degrees. So there's the answers to our equation between 0 degrees and 360 degrees. Okay, well that brings us now to the end of this question.